Hello, my name is Pepijn and welcome to the fifth video in the series. Today's video is on Majolica and Faience. We'll mainly focus on the production in the Low Countries. Do take note that different European countries had Majolica production. Majolica and Faience both refer to a thin glaze earthenware. In Britain they often refer to it as delftware. These thin glaze wares are often painted. Because the thin glaze is white, the depictions are very clear when painted on. Both Majolica and Faience refer to the same thing. Countries may name this differently, however. In this video we'll use the Dutch naming systems. In the Netherlands, that means that Majolica refers to wares that contain thin glaze on only one side of the vessel. The other side may contain a lead glaze, but that doesn't have to be. Faience in Netherlands refers to wares where there's thin glaze on both sides. What you might notice is since thin glaze is very fragile, it flakes off very easily. So a lot of examples here have damage to this, to the wares, which is normal. As you can see here, there is damage here, and this is Faience, and this is an example of Majolica. You can see it flakes off very easily. We'll start with a little bit of history before we look at the production in the Low Countries. The earliest thin glaze wares come from Iraq and date to the 8th century AD. The concept was brought to Spain and Italy in the 13th century. Here, production started of these types, and they can be encountered on excavations here in northern Europe. Actually, the name Majolica comes from the trade with the island of Majorca, which is because it's a corruption of that name. Majolica refers to Majorca. But now look at Majolica. In the late 16th century, thin glaze ware was introduced in the northern Netherlands by the Flemish. During the 16th century, porcelain was also introduced to the Low Countries, but this was expensive since it was imported from China. The thin glaze industry therefore imitated Chinese porcelain. This is visible in the decorations. Decorations and styles can be used to date Majolica, as specific styles and patterns and scenes are most popular in specific times. Main shapes are plates and tableware, although many different thin glaze shapes exist. Dutch Majolica plates can be very colorful, with lots of different colors. Sometimes also contains mottos or catchphrases. The height of Dutch Majolica dates from the 1575 to around 1650, although it continues at least to the mid-18th century. As mentioned before, very typical of Majolica is that the thin glaze decoration is only at one side. So if you look here, you can see that it doesn't contain this white glaze. This is namely a lead glaze, which can occur on Majolica. Here are some few examples of plates. The production of Majolica is as follows. First, the shape of the vessel is made. As an example, a plate. This is shaped on potter's wheel from clay. After drying, the vessel is fired. These unglazed vessels are referred to as biscuit or biscuitware, also koek in Dutch, or beschuit, and can be found in large quantities at production sites. It is made both from red and white fabrics. The patent scene and glaze is then added, and then the second firing starts. On Majolica plates, often 3 areas of damage are visible. These are not created on accident, but are a remnant of the production process. To stack these plates in the kiln for second firing, small triangles are used, and these are referred to in Dutch as proenen. They are a small triangle made out of clay. You can see one here in the middle. And these cause small areas of damage. However, they were not seen as much. You can see it will fit on the plate like this. They can be larger. This one is actually found in the river, so it's sort of rounded off. And this part would be fitting on this part of damage, and there would be another one here and another one here. I will show you now a few examples of such triangles, and I will also indicate a picture how it fits on the plate. We'll continue with faience. Italian potters in the 16th century perfected thin glazed earthenware with a glaze on both sides. This is named faience after the Italian city, and excuse my Italian, Faienza. This, together with Portuguese faience, can be found in small quantities in the Netherlands. The Italian potters had invented a new way of stacking the thin glazed pottery in the kiln. The pottery was stacked in cylinders with small holes in which sticks were put to rest the pottery on. This prevented damage to the glaze at the front of the vessel. Small spots of damage could be seen on the back side of the vessels. This damage would mainly be on the stand ring of the vessel, like here. In the Netherlands, faience was also made from the 1625 to the 19th century, also known as Delft's Blauw or Delft's Blue. For the second part of the 17th century and the first part of the 18th century, faience from Delft is exported all over the world. The industry of Delftware, both in the Netherlands and England, declined after 1750 due to production of English industrial whiteware, which was more durable than the rather fragile thin glazeware. Nowadays, there is still a factory in Delft who produced hand-painted wares made of thin glaze, which is still the original type of Delft's Blue. A type of industrial whiteware that replaced Delftware is referred to as transfer printed ware, meaning that they first made a highly decorated and highly detailed picture, and they used a sort of stamp to stamp this on plates. This is an example of that, and this is not a thin glazeware. I will show you now some complete faience vessels. It should be noted that both Majolica and Faience had multiple towns in the Netherlands where they were produced. We're now going to talk about thin glazed tiles. First we'll show you a picture of some tiles I have that are placed on a table. These tiles can be found in old homes and are collected by art collectors. The decoration and dating of them is well understood and can be useful when dating walls of buildings and fundaments during city excavations. Again, these Dutch tiles were traded over large parts of the world. I will now show you an example of some tiles still in situ. As mentioned before, decorations on tiles are very well understood, and there are several books written about them. Since it's quite a broad topic and perhaps deserves its own video, I will give you here briefly some pointers that can help with the dating of them. Early tiles from the 16th and 17th century are usually thicker. The earliest are 19 mm and later on they are around 12 mm. This one is one of those thicker tiles. This dates to the mid 17th century. Again, this one is also a little bit thicker and also dates to the 17th century. Early tiles from 1570 to 1620 are usually very colorful and contain lots of different colors. After 1620 the tiles are mainly blue and white in color. This is related to the imitation of Chinese porcelain, which contains the same color scheme and is related to the fitting with darker interior of homes. The color purple on Dutch tiles is introduced from 1686, meaning that tiles containing this color date after this date. Before this date, the color purple was difficult and expensive to create. Corner motifs can also be used as clues for dating, since some of them are common in specific time frames. Lastly, size of tiles is also related to the time in which they are produced. Here I will show you examples of tiles from each century. I also include this table based on the Dutch websites. It gives some good pointers about how old a certain tile should be. However, I cannot guarantee this is completely scientifically accurate. It only gives you a broad overview, as far as I could find. I checked it with the data provided by fith. But if you're interested in the topic, I highly recommend you do some reading on your own. I hope you enjoyed this video about Majolica and Faience. Give a like and I hope to see you in the next video.